Once you've set your retirement goals, it's time to tackle one of the most important steps in your planning. That's calculating how much money you'll need. There are a few ways to do this, but a good rule of thumb is to start by having a clear picture of your current expenses and then adjust them based on what your planned retirement looks like. Let's consider a scenario of someone who is 5 to 10 years out from retirement. And feel free to follow along using your own information. In this example, their current expenses total about $60,000 per year. Their next step is to review their retirement plan and adjust their projected expenses accordingly. Let's say they pay off their mortgage before they retire, go from 2 cars to 1, and no longer need to pay for daily parking downtown for work. This lowers their overall expenses to $30,000. But let's look at things in their retirement plan that could bring some expenses back up. It looks like they want to travel, get a golf membership, and will have to start paying out of pocket for health insurance. When we add these items to their list of expenses, the total then becomes $50,000. While this example is simple, itemizing your own expenses can take some time, but it gives you a more accurate idea of how much you might spend when you retire. A more generic way to estimate spending is by using the 60-80 rule, which suggests that your retirement expenses will be between 60 and 80% of your current income. When doing your calculations, remember that this income does not yet include public pension sources like Canada Pension Plan or CPP, and Old Age Security or OAS, which we will cover in more detail in a later course. This is a less specific way to plan for future expenses, but it could still be a helpful consideration when budgeting. Now, you might be thinking, how does inflation factor into retirement budgeting? We know inflation impacts how much we can buy with a certain amount of money. For example, assuming a 2% rate of inflation, $100 worth of groceries this year might cost around $102 next year. Remember our example? Our retirement planner budgeted around $50,000 for their future annual expenses, but that number is in today's dollars. To account for inflation, they can add 2% per year, changing their budget to $51,000 in their first year of retirement just to keep pace. Then just over $52,000 the following year. They can keep adjusting their calculations as far into their retirement years as they like to help ensure they're prepared for rising costs down the line. Those are just a few things to consider when tackling your retirement budget. To help simplify this process, check out the Goals tab in Webroker. In the next video, we'll look at how you can maximize different retirement benefits programs to help meet your future expenses.